Welcome to Unleash Your Real Estate Revolution. It's Elizabeth Gretz, and I'm here with my bestie, Linda Fogarty, who is a real estate coach and a big professional in the world of real estate. So I'd like to say welcome back, Linda. And today's topic of conversation is a simple 2026 business plan. So we think it should be one page. It should be short and sweet. And if your 2026 plan isn't in writing, you don't have a plan. Linda, what is the worst or the best plan that you have ever seen?
Oh my God, Elizabeth, I have to. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast again. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. But the craziest one I've ever seen, it was a 30-page, color-coded, beautifully created business plan that did not have one moment of contact, of talking to people, of follow-up, of building relationships in it whatsoever. It was, and the sad part about it is the agent was so proud of it because it had a lot of affirmations and it had a lot of goals and a lot of fluff, but it really had no time blocking for any communication whatsoever. And sadly, after we talked, like he became a little deflated with it because he thought it was great. He thought he was really going to work this business plan, and it had a kind of a bigger production amount that he wanted to make, but no content to how he was going to get there. So it was pretty wild. And I will tell you, when you mention a one-page business plan, I'll take that every day over a 30-page color-coded, funny, exciting fluff piece.
I've been there. And for the last several years, I have just done a simple one-page plan. And years ago, in a different industry, I won an award for my business plan. It was 30 pages long. And I've come to find out that you make the plan, you put it in the drawer, it goes into a Google Drive, you never see it again. And so I decided years ago that, you know what, I was just going to put it in writing, one page, keep it simple, make it attainable. And even if I only looked at it when I put the plan together for the year, at least I wrote it down. It was in my head, and it was a process that I put into place for the future of the next year. And so I think it's really important that everybody do this. And I think that agents they're just burned out. They're exhausted, and they're exhausted because they don't have a plan, and they're kind of doing a little bit here and a little bit there. So do you have any good advice for them?
Absolutely. First of all, let's start with something simple. How much money do you want to make in 2026? Because that's going to give you your first goal. Because if you start with that, I want to make $200,000 this year. And you can put in your income, your average GCI. What is that income check that you receive? What is the percentage that you pay your broker? And what is your net check? It's easy to take that and figure out how many deals you need to close in order to make that kind of money. Then you can add some of the ways you're going to get there. But starting with that is pretty paramount so that you have a direction that you're going in.
Right. Okay. So on your first page, the first thing you want to do is, how much money do I want to make? And then we reverse engineer that. And when we reverse engineer that, we're basically saying, okay, if just say my average market is $400,000 and I want to make $200,000, how many properties do I need to sell at my rate of commission split with my brokerage? And then that sort of gives you a very simplistic path. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. You don't need to be a mathematician. You just need to start with how much money you want to make and then break it down from there. So then nobody's judging. Nobody is, it's all you, right? It's one page, it's for you. It's not for the
Yeah.
world. It's not for, and if you think it looks super pretty because you're really good in Canva, feel free to share it with your friends and your managing broker and other people you want to work with. But otherwise, it's just for you. So once you determine your numbers, then the next thing I think that's really important is that you determine your niche, right? If you're working with everyone, you're working with no one. If everyone is your customer, no one is your customer, right? So do you want to work with relocation? That wouldn't be me. Do you want to be the neighborhood expert? That would be me. Do you want to work with first-time home buyers? A little bit more time consuming, but very rewarding at the end. Or do you want to work with people who are downsizing? And once you determine who your niche is, then the next thing you want to do is determine like, how are you going to get those people? How are you going to attract those people? How are you going to bring those people in, right? What do you
Absolutely.
think?
Yeah. And there are so many niches that you can choose from. And even if you decide to work a couple of them, that's your goal, is to figure that out, because now everything you do will be centered on that niche. Whether it's social media, whether it's finding your farm, whether it's, like you said, empty nesters or move up buyers or first time buyers, everything you do will be centered on that group.
I agree. And don't you agree that when you have a specialty or a niche, your confidence level is so much greater because you know it?
Without a doubt. You know that
Yes,
market, you know those people, you know that group, without a doubt.
I agree with you. Okay, so then so then you determine your niche, spell that. Then you determine your strategy. And it doesn't have to be cuckoo crazy, right? It just needs to be an attainable, doable, simple strategy. And I think you touched on this a little bit earlier when you talked about time blocking. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the importance of time blocking and what does that mean?
Okay. I mean, that's perfect, because you have to, and you'll want to set up those moments, whether it's an hour every single day, 5 days a week, whether it's 2 hours, whether it's 20 minutes, but it's on, you put it on your calendar. You treat those times like you treat an appointment. There's no moving it. There's no, canceling it. You have a moment where you're going to start calling people, texting them, reaching out to them, whether you're, walking your farm and getting to know and doing some pop buys of your VIPs or people that have given you referral business. Look at those different niches. Look at how much time you can spend and make sure that it's on your calendar. Because if it's on your calendar, you have a much greater chance that it'll get completed. And there
Right.
used to be this formula. It was called the 7531. Excuse me.
No problem.
And the 7531 was all about, if you picked up the phone 7 times, you'll get one person to talk to you. And
What's
if
the
you,
5 and the 3?
I'm coming to that.
Oh,
If you talk to 5 people, you have an opportunity to get one appointment. And if you get 3 appointments, you have an opportunity to get a closing. Because remember, not all appointments go to a closing table. And so, depending on whether you're going after listings or you're working with buyers, that 7531 formula. Now, what they have discovered is it's gotten a little worse, because it actually became 97631. So you got to pick up the phone a little bit longer or a little bit more often. But if you're contacting people that you know already, your past clients, your family, your friends, if you look at your database right now, how many people are in your database that you have completely forgotten to stay in touch with?
a lot.
Too many. And so going back to that and having the structure of, what do I need to do? How do I reinvent these people and open those doors again, so that I'm talking to them often enough And when it comes time to buy, sell, or refer somebody, I'm going to be top of mind and they're going to think about me. And that's how you time block. That's how you figure out, take your database. Say you have 200 people in your database, and it's cutting it down to smaller portions so that you can digest it easier and do it easier. And you will do it because it's not, I'm calling 200 people this week.
Okay. So that really is a nice segue into our growth strategy. And so the first pillar is our sphere of influence, our leads, the people we know, the people that we've worked with in the past, the people that would refer us to people in the future. So we start with them on our plan and we say, okay, we're going to contact so many people a day from our sphere of influence, not strangers, just people we already know or have worked with in the past. Then we have a growth strategy to grow that contact into business, whether it be, like you said, a pop-by, whether it be a messenger exchange, whether it be an email, whether it be a text, which texting is a great way to get people because nobody wants to answer their phone, but everybody can text you right back because everybody's phone is right here all the time. So or they give you a thumbs up, or they give you a heart, or they give you whatever, but they are, what are they? They are saying that they, in fact, have heard from, they're acknowledging that they have heard from you. And that is reaching out. That is making contact. That is part of your growth strategy. Do you have anything to add?
Without a doubt. Yeah. You want to remember, too, that you can't just do this periodically because they're not going to think about you. You have to, I always go back to that NAR survey that was done so many years ago that said, 87% of the buyers and sellers out there would work with their agent again, but they can't remember who they are because they never hear from them. And so when they cut that down a little bit, they said, in order to have that client, that person that was in your sphere that closed a deal with you, think about you, you have to be in touch with them 2 times a month. Now that seems a lot, but if you're, say, doing a newsletter, or a lot of agents will in their CRM send out postcards, that's at least 1 time if you're hitting your whole sphere, which is good. So at least once or twice a month, your clients, your past clients, the people that you know, friends, family, and your whole sphere needs to hear from you. And if you do that, when it comes time for them to buy, sell, or refer business, you are going to be the person they think of. But again, it all goes back to, you have to have that on your calendar. You have to put them in there so that yes, I called Mary Jane. I talked to her, and 2 weeks later, I sent her a text or an email, or I popped by her house and dropped her off a little gift, one way or another. And in addition to that, that survey also said you have to be in touch with them on the phone or in person 3 times a year.
Yes, I don't disagree. And I have a question for you. So when you say on your calendar, and I think CRM, is it the same, or is it different, or is it a complement to one another?
It is a complement to each other, because what you're doing is you're taking that calendar and you're saying, okay, so for the next 2 hours randomly, I have already my sphere of 25 past clients as sphere A. I'm going to take and contact them either via email, text, phone call, in person, pop-by, whatever you're doing. And you're specifically targeting that group. And then if you're going to do that, say 3 times a week, now you're going to hit the next group and have your sphere divided in easy to get done types of groups. Okay. And then your CRM and your calendar will work together. Okay.
And I am notorious for losing my calendar. Like I love my calendar, but I can't always find it, right? So I left it at the office. I left it here. It's in the car. It's here. But what I have learned to do that has been very effective for me is I just use the notes on my phone and I just type in, what I need to do tomorrow, Wednesday. And I don't really say time block, but I do say reach out to customers. So if you don't even want to use a calendar, a Google Calendar, you don't want to use a paper calendar, use the notes on your phone because it seems to work for me.
There you go.
There
Something
you
new we can all learn from. Because, Elizabeth, it's not what you use, it's that you use it.
Correct.
And if notes works for you and you use it, that's the perfect answer.
Yes. Okay. So we need to determine the amount of money we want to make. Then we need to break it down into how many transactions we need to get that money. Then we have to look at our sphere, potential customers, clients, and determine who they are, where they're located, whether it's the CRM, whether it's just in the contacts in our phone, whatever. Then we're putting together our growth strategy. How are we going to grow our business this year? Well, we're going to have to market to these people. We're going to have to time block. We're going to have to do some creative things to get new clients. We're going to have to take some educational courses. We ourselves are going to have to get better at what we do. The next thing would be our visibility growth. And when I say visibility growth, it is how in the age and time when technology is changing faster than we're doing this podcast, do we strategize visibility and growth? And I have a lot of things to say about that, but I'd like to start with you.
Okay. One of the best ways now, well, actually, one of the most popular is using videos. Everybody likes videos, and if you can post a video on social media, and your platform should be at least two, whether it's Facebook and Instagram or Facebook and YouTube, because Facebook still is the number one social media platform. Instagram is catching up to it, but it's not there yet. Most people are still using Facebook. So if you can post a couple times a week and you're doing it in video rather than just text posts, your response, your engagement, and people remembering you increases tremendously.
We are definitely going to do a podcast on just that. But okay, so yes, and they do say the loudest people are the ones that win. So everywhere, all day, every day. But because it's changing so fast, and I myself am a victim of this, sometimes I just shut down completely because I'm like, there's so much to learn. Like, where do I go? What do I do? So I think from a visibility standpoint, and part of my business plan every year is to learn something new, to take a Canva class once a week, to take a YouTube course, free, I might add, on every topic. You and I could be brain surgeons if we went to YouTube.
Yes.
But you know what? Take a YouTube course on how to expand your audience on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever, whatever. But so I'm a big fan of, yes, you do have to increase your visibility. The methods change constantly. You have to be changing with those methods. And we have a great method that we use for texting, and it's called
Hit them up.
Hit 'em up. Yeah. And so hit 'em up is a great way to text. You set it up in groups and you can text multiple people at the same time, but it does them each by their individual name. And that is sort of idiot proof for people like me. And it seems to be very effective. We started that, I believe, at Thanksgiving. I can't believe the amount of people that sent me messages back and sent photos. And it was just another way to touch people. So
That's right.
that being said, okay, we're going to put together a one-page plan. And on that one-page plan, we are going to include what?
Oh, the money you want to make,
Yep.
your GCI,
Yep.
your time blocking for either your calendar or your notes or however you want to do it, and how you're going to improve and increase your knowledge in what's going on today. And probably the fourth or fifth one is like your social media platforms to make sure you're out there. Because if you have all that lined up and you have all those things going on, your business is going to be what you want it to be. But you got to start with knowing what you want.
Yes, and I think, and then some. And I think it is really one page, simplistic. Make it easy on yourself, but have it in writing, because if it's not in writing, it's not in this world. And I also love that sometimes I'll write a plan and I won't look at it for the whole year, but I'll look at it next year when it's time to write the next plan. And I'm fascinated at what I have achieved just by writing that plan down a year ago. So I think
I think,
that's
when you do that, Elizabeth, even though you may not look at it, you have it in your subconscious. You
yes,
wrote it down. You made the idea of, this is what I want to make. This is what I need to do to get there, in a simple one-page plan. It still stays with you, even though you don't look at it. I hope that most agents will look at it at least a couple times a year or quarterly,
sure.
because you want to make adjustments for what's working and what's not working, or if the market is changing. But even if you don't, your subconscious has it, and you know what you want to do, or you know what you need to do to get there.
Well, yes, you need to be acting like a CEO and not an employee. And a CEO definitely has a plan, and they're definitely revisiting that plan constantly, making sure that they are at least adhering to the plan, if not adding to and making it better. So
Right.
if I had a plan in place, I would not only want to educate myself, want to learn something new, definitely have my numbers in line, definitely be thinking about who my sphere is, but I know who my sphere is because I have a nice CRM, contacting those people. But I also might hire a real estate coach. What about you?
I think that's a great idea, because there are some really good real estate coaches out there. And
And
I mean, you've known me for over 20 years. You know
we're
that's
not
my
that
passion.
old.
That's true. Coaching is my passion. And honestly, I started my business with a coach. And it took my business from my first year of closing 2 deals to 17 million by my third year, because I followed his
Yeah,
philosophy
a
on how
plan,
to get
a
business,
plan.
how to get there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So if people want to follow you, where do they go?
www.lindafogarty.com. You'll find me there. You can always send me a text message or email, or call me 708-275-2350. I'm always available, unless
And
I'm doing this.
where are you on Facebook and Instagram?
All you got to do is do lindafogarty.com, and you'll find all of my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm there. I'm with all of them.
Okay. And I, Elizabeth Gretz, can be found at elizabethgretzcoaching.com. And I'm at Elizabeth Gretz Coaching on Instagram. And I am Elizabeth Gretz Coaching, all one word, on Facebook. And you can send me a message, you can call me, you can text me. But I would appreciate it so much if you would follow me. And if you guys are really, really, really ambitious, send us a copy of your one-page plan. You know what? We'll give you a reward. We'll give you an award if you send us your plan. So I just want to say, without a plan, not much is going to happen. And it just needs to be a simple one-page plan. And all you have to do, and you don't even have to type it up, write it down, just put it in place. Not only that, it gives you the self-confidence to take the next step and make the next step. So that's what I have to say about Business Planning 2026. Miss Linda, what would you like to say?
I think my final words are, without writing your business plan, you have no foundation. No, you can't shoot from the hip and expect the success that you really want. You have to know what you want, write it down, and then you will be successful every time.
Okay, then. Well, on that happy note, here's to our success in 2026. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for joining us. And we will be back. We will be back with tips and tricks for social media growth. We will be back with how to handle contracts, and we will be back with much, much more. So we thank you for coming to visit us, to listen to us, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And Linda, I thank you, as always, for being my right-hand man.
Thank you so
Bye,
much,
ladies.
Elizabeth, for having me. I enjoyed this so much.
All right. Well, we will be together again soon, and you guys have a very successful 2026. And we're here if you need us for anything. Thank you so much.